Can you believe it's November already, folks? Turkey's about to be on the table, Christmas presents shall be under the tree, and Old Gamer Joe just might get a few days rest before the new year starts. While there are a few notable indies left to release in 2023, I thought it would be fun to go over some of the truly great releases we were all blessed with in what was an outstanding year for indie games. Here are 10 of our favorites, with more to come, and these are in no particular order. First, we have to go to January with the release of Path of the Midnight Sun. While January is not often associated with massive game releases, Path of the Midnight Sun blew us away with its gorgeous visual style, compelling narrative, and stunning soundtrack. This Golden Genie Lamp winner is a JRPG inspired by big names like Fire Emblem and the Shin Megami Tensei series, but does a lot to stand out on its own. 30 plus hours of grandiose action awaits. The biggest surprise with Path of the Midnight Sun was just how well written it was. Further heightening the narrative are some great voice performances. It doesn't hurt that the turn-based combat was a blast, all leading to Path of the Midnight Sun being a sleeper hit. If you missed out on this one, be sure to add it to your wishlist because it rocks. Not bad for a game that started out as a Fire Emblem ROM hack. Also sneaking out in early January, we had the narrative adventure A Space For the Unbound. This game feels like a Studio Ghibli film brought to life in video game form. A heart-wrenching and compelling narrative, fun side objectives and mini-games, drop-dead gorgeous art and animations, and a beautiful set of compositions made for an unforgettable gaming experience. A Space For the Unbound hits like a ton of bricks. The game is masterful in its execution, with characters you'll fall in love with. While some of the themes are intense, the messaging is well presented. Don't let the magical themes and princesses fool you. This game will leave your jaw on the floor. A must-play for 2023. One of my personal favorites this year, naming controversy aside, was Gal Guardian's Demon Purge. I never thought I wanted a multiplayer Metroidvania this bad. Gal Guardians is a riot with a great sense of humor, awesome pixel art, and a fun gameplay loop with a tricky ending that, well, wasn't really the end, I'll just say that. When a school turns into a demonic castle, it's up to Shinobu and Maya to defeat the demons within and reclaim the school. The 2D action mechanics are sound, and while the game starts off pretty bare bones, the swapping system soon reveals itself to be paramount to your success. There are plenty of difficulty modes, but the local co-op was just brilliant. Sure, the platforming isn't always perfect, and maybe the map designs could have used a bit of extra work in spots, but it wasn't enough to stop Gal Guardians from making this list. Just an awesome game. Let's move on to something a bit more lighthearted with Meg's Monster. Odin Cat is quickly becoming one of our favorite developers here at the channel, and their latest release back in March didn't disappoint. Much like their previous efforts, Meg's Monster features a heartwarming and sad emotional story. If you loved Fishing Paradiso and Bear's Restaurant, this will be a no-brainer. Play as a young girl whose tears can end the world, but the game isn't so much about Meg, it's about her monster friend Roy. Roy and Meg's relationship continually grows throughout this short adventure, but this game is more of an RPG than its predecessors. You'll have a map, turn-based combat, and plenty of banter between this lovable cast. While not the most challenging release this year, few games have as big of a heart as Meg's Monster. It is absolutely infuriating how Vernal Edge doesn't seem to be talked about all that much because it may very well be my favorite game released this entire year. Holy hell did I love this game. The unique combat engine, Zelda-like dungeons, a great lead character, and a mysterious world broken up into islands awaits indie gamers. I'm not quite sure why more people aren't discussing Vernal Edge, but perhaps it just didn't get enough coverage or marketing push. But either way, this game belongs in your indie collection, no ifs, ands, or buts. From the gorgeous pixel art to the amazing dungeon design, this one is awesome. Up next, we have 9 Years of Shadows, a musical Metroidvania. If we do a Best Graphics category this year for our End of the Year Indie Awards in December, it's hard not to imagine 9 Years of Shadows being in that conversation. You play as Europa, forced to watch her parents die in a world that has been stripped of color. This game gets props alone for having a bear-hugging healing mechanic. You just gotta play it to understand. The combat is surprisingly deep and satisfying, keeping players on their toes. Animations are magnificent, and the world itself is just incredible to explore. Get this game now, I mean, if you want, but you should, seriously, it's good. Another great catch in 2023 is DREDGE, a game that somehow combines fishing and horror and makes it work. DREDGE isn't for everyone, but its lovely progression system had us hooked. Ha, see what I did there? Love the art design of this game, and hats off to the Steam Deck optimization, because holy hell is this game awesome on Steam Deck. DREDGE is a great example of just how special indie games can be and how the willingness of a developer to take creative risk can sometimes pay off in a big way. With excellent pacing and creative ideas, DREDGE is a masterful cosmic horror experience. Yet another game that didn't get nearly enough recognition is OTXO, which might be the closest I ever get to a Hotline Miami 3 the way things are going. OTXO is a fast and frantic top-down shooter that clearly draws inspiration from that indie classic, as you'll clear out room after room of maniacs spraying blood all over the place. However, OTXO does do a good deal to stand out on its own. You'll battle your way through a mansion, map after map, approaching enemies in strategic ways. There are tons of guns and gadgets for you to use, but death will come and come often. Aiming is excellent in this title, and that's a good thing because the enemies are really tough. And with rogue elements as well, OTXO will keep you busy for hours on end. Wholly underrated, Batman, why didn't Ravenlok get more love? I adore this game for its wonderful voxel graphics, relaxing difficulty, and magical world. Magical is really the best word to describe this game. Each world you visit feels like a fairy tale brought to life. I feel like I enjoyed this game far more than a lot of folks out there did. It was just a nice break from the constant onslaught of Souls games. Ravenlok will make you feel like a kid again, and it's an action RPG worth your time. And it's stress-free too. Last but not least for this list, we have Planet of Lana, a phenomenal cinematic puzzle platformer. Planet of Lana tells a beautiful story without having to say all that much at all. The gameplay is extremely solid, the visuals are just fantastic, and the sound design gorgeous. My feelings were kicked in over and over again during my playthrough of this one. You are a young girl on a peaceful island that is suddenly attacked by robots. You and your cat partner now need to rescue a childhood friend. If you were a fan of Limbo or other classic cinematic platformers, Planet of Lana is a must-play. And that's gonna do it for this list, folks, but we'll have plenty more games as we round out the year that was 2023. It was an amazing year for indie games, and it was a great year for this channel, too. You can support independent content over at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames to gain Discord access, exclusive live streams, early ad-free shows, podcasts, and so much more. Your community is waiting for you over there. We'll see you on the channel for more great indie gaming content.